Is it doing it? Okay. Huh? First thing I want you to do with your ruler is to draw a horizon line about in the middle of your paper, realizing that the horizon line can be anywhere as long as it's horizontal and goes across your paper. The horizon line separates the sky from the land. Put your vanishing point in the middle, realizing that the vanishing point can go anywhere as long as it's on the horizon line. And for a review, I need a box resting right on the line. And those of you who have never done this before or didn't have me last year, if I start going too fast, tell me and I'll slow down. I need a box crossing over the line. And I need a box under the line. And it would be easier for you if it were not under the vanishing point right now. You can go get another one if you'd like. You'll need to erase the horizon line that crosses over because you wouldn't be able to see it anymore. So we're going to start with 3 boxes. Yes, ma'am. Do you want to come and sit at one of these desks up here? You don't have to bring everything, just your ruler and your paper and stuff, okay? And you can turn it so you can see better. Is that going to be better for you up closer? Do you have glasses? You're going to have to do the best you can.
I can move that.
Okay, just for today. Jacob has offered to give you his seat for today. Are you sure? She said okay. All right, what you need to do is what we did yesterday. Every corner that can goes to the vanishing point. The bottom 2 are already connected to the vanishing point by the horizon line. The top left corner would draw through the shape. That means it's an invisible corner and would not be seen. So the top right corner connects by the vanishing point, and I'm only going to go halfway so I don't have a ton of guidelines to erase. I have a vertical corner, so I need a parallel line. I'm going to make sure my ruler's straight up and down, and I'm going to make a vertical line and stop when I hit the horizon line. And there's my first building. For this box, if I tried to take these 2 corners, it would draw through the shape, which means they're invisible. But this corner will go toward the vanishing point. I'm only going to go about halfway. And this corner will go to the vanishing point. And I'm only going to go about halfway. I need a vertical parallel to connect my distance lines, which means my ruler has to be straight up and down. And I'm going to connect the top distance line to the bottom distance line. And then I have to erase the horizon line because it won't show anymore. So now I have 2 buildings. Am I going too fast? Okay. For this box, 3 corners will go toward the vanishing point. I'm going to line up to the point, and I'm only going to go about halfway. To finish the back, I need a parallel line between the top distance line and the middle distance line, and it needs to be horizontal. So I'm going to keep my ruler horizontal and move it on up, and I'm going to connect the top distance line to the middle distance line. The next line I need is a vertical, and I need it between the middle distance line and the bottom distance line, and my point of intersection is right here. So I'm going to keep it vertical and move it over, and I need a vertical line between the middle distance line and the bottom distance line. Then I want to erase any guidelines that are hanging over that I don't need. So now I have 3 buildings. If you want to put a building behind a building, you have to start with a flat shape. Ooh, that looks crooked. Realizing that it drops down behind this building and that the bottom corners are attached to the vanishing point, this is an invisible corner. This is the only corner that will go. I need a parallel that is vertical to the corner, and I'm going to draw from the distance line, and if I hit the building, I'm going to stop, and if I don't hit the building, I'll stop when I hit the horizon line. Is everybody caught up? Okay, good. Now, when we talk, excuse me, we're going to talk about windows and doors next. Okay, windows and doors. On the flat shape, you don't have to use the vanishing point. But if you put windows and doors on the sides, where the tops and the bottoms are going toward the point, then the top and bottom of a window or door has to go. And you'll start with a vertical, and you'll take the top toward the vanishing point and stop before you get to the other end of the building. And you'll take the bottom to the vanishing point and stop before you get to the end of the building. A vertical to connect the two. So the top and bottom of every window and door on the sides of the building that are going back into space have to use the vanishing point. If you're making windows or doors on the flat shape that you first drew, then you don't have to use the vanishing point. And like I said, This should just be a review for those of you who have had me before. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, sidewalks. This building and this building, you can't see the sidewalks. Can somebody tell me why? Leanne.
Because the ones behind you are the ones on the horizon.
Okay, they're actually both on the horizon line. And if you remember when we held our rulers so that you couldn't see the top or the bottom, and we said that was our eye level line, that's the reason you can't see the top of the sidewalk, because you're looking at it at eye level. Okay, there's two buildings that can have sidewalks. We need a horizontal that's longer than the corners of the building on both buildings. The end of each one of those goes to the vanishing point. This one stops when it gets a little past the back corner. This line has to be really long on this side because it has to look like it goes behind the building when it goes back to the vanishing point. And that's because the building is so close to the horizon line. This building is far away from the horizon line, but this building is much closer. But the lines are the same. And by the same, I mean distance line, horizontal, distance, horizontal. And here we have horizontal, distance, horizontal, distance. The front lines of the sidewalk go by the vanishing point. Most of you put vertical lines here instead of distance lines. Why would it be impossible for it to have vertical lines here? What kind of information do vertical lines give us? DJ. Very good. Vertical lines show us how tall things are. And sidewalks aren't tall. They're flat. So you would not use a vertical line for a sidewalk, ever. Never, ever. The sides of the sidewalk are horizontal lines. And if you remember, the sidewalk lines get closer together as they go toward the point because that helps with the illusion of depth. So as I go back, my lines are going to get a little closer together each time. And it's really hard to keep your ruler straight because about halfway through you want to start turning the ruler, but it has to be horizontal to work.
The ones on the closest side of the sidewalk line up with the point?
Excuse me?
Do the ones on the closest side of the sidewalk line up with the vanishing point?
Where? Show me.
Right there.
Here? Yes, these are vanishing point lines. And they will also line up with the point up here too. And these will also be horizontal. I don't know if you've realized it yet, but every single line we've drawn today, your ruler has either been vertical or horizontal or exactly to the vanishing point. Those are the only three types of lines we have drawn on here. Bless you. Bless you again. For a road, it's like a big V upside down that comes from the vanishing point. Sort of like that. Or it can be horizontal lines. Why would you never use vertical lines for a road? What information does vertical lines give us? Height. Are roads tall? No, they're flat. So you can't use a vertical line to show height on a road because there is no height. Now I'm going to show you how to make a road that turns a corner because most of you missed this last year. I can only have distance lines and horizontal lines for a road. But what if I want to drive down the road and turn left and then turn left again? I'm going to make that longer so you can see it better. I need the top horizontal line needs to be longer and the second one needs to be shorter. And then I'm going to take the end of them and line them up with the vanishing point, and that's going to make the turn for me. If you do it incorrectly on your final project, I'll mark it wrong, but you don't have to. So I would be driving down the road, turn left, and then make another left turn. And that's how you would make it look like a block, like the road goes around the block. These are vanishing point lines. Now if you want to make a line in the road, if you've ever looked at those painted lines, they're like that wide if you're like right on top of them. So I like to look and decide where I think the middle of my road is, and I put two little dots. Then I connect those dots to the vanishing point because the line, the painted line, actually gets larger as it comes away from the point too. Bless you. Now, I'm going to show you how to do a car because you're big, bad 8th graders. Okay? I am going to start with a flat rectangle that stays within the lines of the road.